Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I am going to try to really focus on mastering the line art for this piece. I do have a topic to talk about, and I'll get a little bit into it in a bit. But I'm going to be slowly going over all the parts of imperfection, and just really get it into a nice, clean, finished product before I move on into the color, because I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I want to be looking at silhouette. I want to be looking at line quality, everything. So that said, I kind of intuitively know how all this is supposed to go already, so I'm just going to dive in and just start moving my hand. One thing is that, like, his cranium here, I'm not sure if I got the size of the cranium right. I know that it's sort of back here, and then it kind of drops down right there back to his neck. And he has a lot of hair, so I'm not sure if I should, like, take the hair and sort of reel it in. We'll try that. Or if that ends up making his hair look too short. No, yeah, I kind of like how it was, so I am going to leave it. But it's good that I experimented with that. So now I do think the line art on the leaves is too thick. So what I'm going to focus on in this video is a couple things. One, speed up by slowing down. I learned that phrase from one of my leaders at work. He said, sometimes this is just an example of speeding up by slowing down, where I can make a mistake if I just kind of rush things and just try to get the interaction done. But what I can do instead is, like, really take the time to, cross my T's and dot my I's. And also, like, meanwhile, maintaining that focus that I've been trying to accomplish with pre-visualization, seeing the drawing before I draw it. And right now, it's already changing the way I'm making marks and the way the patience with which I'm making marks. Because I'm trying to see, where are these things before I draw them. This is difficult to maintain, but I think in this video, since I'm getting it a little bit, I'm going to try to maintain it. Dang it. Sometimes I undo too much. So I'm going to take my time with these lilies here. Why not? We'll make it beautiful. So I do work on personal enrichment work like this, on Catholic work, until I have commissions. And I'll just keep working on this and trying to make this the most beautiful piece I've ever made until I get a commission. Then I'll take a break, but that's what we're doing now. But it is looking nice. But the thing is, I think the brush setting I have might be too thick. So let's thin it out a little bit so I don't get these really thick outlines on the flower petals here. They don't need to be thick. So we're using our other inking brush to erase the old brush called Opus Inker 1. The brush I'm using now called Opus Inker 2. I made these brushes they're mostly just slight derivatives of other brushes, but I made a little bit of tweak to my liking. Okay. Lilies kind of look like trumpets. Makes me wonder if the design of lilies does affect sound in any way, because they really do look like trumpets, kind of facing in every direction. Okay. Gonna separate the pupils a little, petals a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm gonna pray a prayer. I'm gonna recite it to you guys because it's a very powerful prayer. See if I remember it. This is the St. Joseph prayer, prayer to St. Joseph the Worker, or at least a version of it. I don't remember the exact title of it. What is going on with my brush? How come it's like so flat? Okay, so it goes, O glorious St. Joseph, model of all those devoted to labor, obtain for me the grace to work in a spirit of penance for the expiation of my many sins, to work conscientiously, putting the call of duty above all natural inclinations, to work with thankfulness and joy, considering it an honor to employ and develop, by means of labor, the gifts received from God. To work with order, peace, moderation, and patience, never shrinking from weariness and trials. To work above all with purity of intention and detachment from self, keeping before my eyes death and the account that I must give of time lost, talent unused, good omitted, and vain complacency and success, so fatal to the work of God. All for Jesus, all through Mary, all after the all after thy example, O Patriarch Saint Joseph. Such shall be my watchword in life and in death. Amen. So it really is like it's a prayer with Saint Joseph for the intercession of Saint Joseph, that we may become harder workers. As well, if you're a man or a woman, depending on who you are, it could be a man or a woman. I would imagine that men are using this prayer more because it's asking us to be like Saint Joseph, but I'm sure there are women out there who have a strong devotion to Saint Joseph and ask this prayer for intercession for their work ethic. Now, for me, I've always suffered a terribly poor work ethic, which I believe I don't have now, but remnants of it live in my mind, remnants of that life. I do like working hard. I don't really mind unpleasant conditions anymore, sweating or cold, or even bad relationships or friendships. Like those things, I'm willing to suffer all of it for the kingdom and the glory of God. So it's, lilies don't really come in all together like that. I'm just gonna try to make it look like they're kind of all in a batch. That means there should be a lot of leaves here. Let's put another leaf kind of behind these two lilies. And then let's put one protruding this way. Let's have it come in front of this flower here a little bit. Why not? See, that looks better already. I'm going to thin out the outlines again. They did not need to be that thick. I really wonder, if there were ancient Renaissance masters in the time period of people like Da Vinci and, I don't know, Rembrandt or whatever, Michelangelo, Bernini, Cellini, all the wonderful French and Italian Renaissance artists. How good were their? I'm sure they had to have had master draftsmen for them to build the architecture and make the sculptures that they had. But I'm sure I could learn a lot from the draftsmen, ancient draftsmen. That's one of the coolest traits as an artist in the art world, draftsmanship. First of all, it sounds really cool, but it's what it describes too to me is really cool. It's one of the coolest things to look at when I'm looking at art. How good is their draftsmanship? How good can they make solid forms and communicate them the way they intend to? It just takes so much knowledge and experience and skill. These ones are looking weird. I think they should sort of curve back a little bit more. I think that flower does a little bit too much to the silhouette. I'm going to remove this one. Don't need it. Yeah, I think that leaf right there is good enough. And I think it's weird that it's touching his head. Let's shorten it a little bit. You bend it a little bit too. So there is a topic I want to talk about, and that is holiness, the approach to sanctity of life. I was listening to a little bit just now to both Jordan Peterson and Bishop Robert Barron, and they the word virtue really comes to mind. And I've spoken at length on this channel about virtue. I know a lot of people might gloss over and skip over, when I'm talking about philosophical stuff, but it's so important to me. I mean, maybe too important for me to know how to think in order to know what to do. I know there are tasks for me to do and I need to just do them, but I want to have that resilience of making it meaningful to me, in the sense that I want to be a participant in God's meaning for things. I want to be a good steward of that. Yeah. So holiness, I did a video on St. Joseph and the simplicity of his holiness. For me, that's kind of what it means too. To be set apart. I'm going to try to fix the sleeve here. Okay. See, it's so hard to get these lines right. If you just keep brushing and erasing and you're zoomed in, you got to take a step back. Now, one of the reasons I brought up the St. Joseph prayer today is because I want to exemplify one little piece of that prayer, which is never shrinking away from weariness and trials. And for me, that's like what I've done my whole life. So I want to be able to sit in the tension of anything, to really persevere, and to survive. And just not be afraid to follow through with work that I am meant to do, in favor of, lounging around. Of course, the Bible, the readings today and yesterday, I think they kind of talked about rest. So Jesus obviously wanted his disciples to rest if they've had a long day. And it's good for us. Rest is obviously good for us. But there are people who are in, this constant workaholic mode where it's like, okay, I don't deserve rest. Something like this. I think this cloth can come out a little bit more to go around the elbow. Still looking at anything glaring. I do want to take a nap right now, and it is Sunday. It's fitting for me to take a nap, but I feel like this video hasn't been long enough yet, and I want to keep going, and I want to make sure I feel like I've adequately approached the problem at hand. This artwork that I'm making is still fun. I'm just tired and sleepy, and I'm very drowsy a lot of the time these days. But for this one, let's pray the St. Joseph prayer. Not to be disobeying, not to work on the Sabbath, but this is fun. For me, this is a form of worship. And so if the Sabbath is meant for, right praise of God and right worship of God, then certainly here I want to be doing that. I want to incorporate drawings like this into my prayers. Now, I'm not worshiping St. Joseph, folks. I honor him because he was a good man. He did a lot for the Holy Family, and the saints being alive in heaven can be those who commune with God and are part of him, and are able to intercede for us. They're able to pray for us, just as a human being is. So, a few things messing with the silhouette here. I think this leaf touching the flower kind of creates an illusion of a silhouette that I don't like. I'm going to move this leaf down a little bit more. I think even my eyes are closing, folks. I need to get some rest, get some kind of nap in. What is it, 3 in the afternoon? Yeah, almost 3 in the afternoon. I need something. Okay, so this hand is off. And why? Let's look at the rhythm of her arm. And we'll look at where we want the hand to be. So here, coming down this way. And it would come down this way. And I think the palm would fall a little bit closer to his neck. Yeah. And then the thumb would be more like right there. And the fingers like just gently cradling his shoulder. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's nice. But the thumb, though, bring it down. Yeah, so he's not too obnoxious. Whoa, I can feel myself getting so fatigued. I think St. Joseph looks so nice. I think he's coming out really good. Again, I am gonna go into the color layer here and start just working in some value. I do want to merge this layer with the. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna merge it. Here's what we'll do now. I'm gonna keep going with this, and again, just get into St. Joseph's head and start to make some colors. So the shadow in his eye, followed by any bluish white in his eye. Okay. Got his eyes in. Let's get more mustache out. Whoa. I'm totally like tired, and random little daydreams are happening in my head. For some reason, thinking about the book of Exodus. So I think it is time for me to take a nap. That is one of the weirdest interruptions I've had in one of these videos. But I'm going to give myself a quick power nap, 10 to 15 minutes, so I can continue here. I did get quite a bit done on the lilies, but we still got a lot of work to do. So I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Bye-bye.